K9, how's it going?
Chilling, man. Grinding. Blessed to be here.
I hear you. Yeah, me too, man. Man, you signed to Spice One. You've been doing things for a minute now.
Yeah, I've been grinding for a very long time, and I was fortunate enough that Spice picked me up, a couple of years ago and been fucking with me. I met him actually probably like 8-9 years ago, and then, just kept fucking with him and, took me under his wing.
Okay, that's what's up, man. Man, Spice is an OG in the game. He's been around a long time. I used to listen to his music when I was a kid.
Yeah, that East Bay gangster shit, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, shit. Yeah, that's what, I grew up off of Spice One, you know what I'm saying? When I was running around the streets doing my shit, like, he was one of my go-to people, So I definitely was influenced by him, so it was dope to finally actually start fucking with him on that level. I definitely learned a lot along the way.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. Well, we'll take it back a little bit and get to know you, get into your story. Where you out of? Where you from?
I'm from Santa Ana, California.
Okay, and you lived there your whole life?
Majority of my life. I was born in St. Louis, Missouri, but I came out here. I came out to Santa Ana when I was probably about 5 years old, and then I pretty much lived all around. Like, it's in Orange County, so I lived like all over Orange County area, predominantly Santa Ana. And when I chose to like actually get active in the streets and gangbang, I chose to really kind of just spent most of my time there. That's where I was influenced at, you know what I'm saying? So that's where I spent most of my time in the streets. And and then from there, like, as I got older, I've moved out of there, to like LA and all the surrounding areas in Southern California. But yeah, that's predominantly where I was raised at.
What was it like for you growing up there?
Shit, man, like, just, Santa Ana, it's one of those cities, one of those areas that slept on, you know what I'm saying? But it's just like any other area out of Southern California, you know what I mean, where it's gangbanging involved, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a lot of gangbanging shit up out of there. But like I said, it's just one of those cities that's overlooked. I grew up, in a time where gangbanging wasn't just a trend, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't a fad. It was like, real street shit, you know what I'm saying? You had to be involved in the streets. You had to actually do some shit. And there was consequences, repercussions behind shit that if you did the wrong shit, you know what I'm saying? You had people to answer to, you know what I'm saying? You get what we call DP, disciplined, you know what I'm saying, for doing the wrong shit. Like, so you were held, your accountability was held at a higher, you know what I'm saying, higher level. But outside of the street shit, shit, like, we got beautiful beaches out there, you know what I'm saying, just like anywhere else in Southern California, you know what I'm saying? It's a beautiful place. It's an old city though, you know what I'm saying? It's like the oldest, I want to say like the oldest city in Orange County.
Oh, okay. And how early do you think you got involved in the streets?
About 12.
12 years old?
Yeah.
It's young.
Yeah.
What was going on at 12 years old that had you in the streets?
Man, just shit. Everything around me, everybody was around me was gangbanging, you feel me? Like, man, just like, from like, whether it was like people in my generation already starting to gangbang and, them just being around me or me being around them, stepping outside and kids in the neighborhood are gangbanging already, or the ones that I see out there getting money, having the bitches and all that shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was just easily influenced by it, you know what I'm saying? Because, just growing up in my household, there wasn't really no structure, you know what I'm saying? There was a lot of, I grew up around, a lot of drugs, a lot of nights, and, you know what I'm saying, of not knowing if I was going to eat or not having no food in the fridge, you know what I'm saying? So, I took to the streets, you know what I'm saying? And pretty much all my homies took me in as like, like family. So I felt like I was treated better with my homies than I was, you know what I'm saying, in my household where I had to deal with, you know what I'm saying, having to fight siblings or, my mom not being there really, my dad not being in the picture at all at the time, so going to the streets, I got a certain type of love. It filled some type of void that I wasn't getting in the house.
How many brothers and sisters did you have?
I got 2 brothers, 2 sisters.
And they were living with you at the time?
Nah. So like, okay, my older brother, older sister, they're on my mom's side. So it really just depends what house I was living at. Like when I was with my mom, which was majority of my life, I was the youngest. And then living with my dad once he got out of prison, I was the oldest. So kind of like technically I'm like the middle, but depending on what house I'm at, I'm either the big brother or the little brother.
How young were you when your dad went to prison?
I was probably about 10 years old.
And were you guys close before he went in?
Then yeah, we were pretty close. I didn't really live with him, but like him and my mom always got along. She never kept him from me, so he would come pick me up on the weekends. He would come pick me up and pretty much take me to LA because he lived in LA. So I would go out there for the weekends or maybe for the summer, stuff like that. So yeah, we were pretty close.
And he went to prison when you were 10, and
Yeah.
and how long was he gone for?
He got out when I was matter of fact, yeah, I was 9. He got out when I was 17. So he did about 8 years.
So by this time,
I was already full-fledged.
you're already full-fledged gangbanging. Do you feel like that him going to prison, do you feel like if he wouldn't have went to prison, that might have changed how your direction in life?
Possibly, I don't want to put no blame on him, you know what I'm saying? It's a possibility. I was still a product of my environment. But I mean it's possible. It's possible. Not having that father figure there, maybe I chose to, go find that in the streets. So that might have made a difference.
So, growing up in the streets, you're going to see a lot of different things. You're going to go through a lot of different things, a lot of serious situations. And what do you think was one of the most serious situations that you went through?
It's hard to say. I've been through a lot of shit. I've been stabbed before. I've never been shot, but I've been stabbed. Full on fist fight. Got hit in my chin. They were trying to hit me in the neck.
Can you take me through it? What happened?
Yeah, I don't want to get too much into it. You know what I'm saying? But we can kind of scrape the surface. I don't want to put nobody out there or nothing. You know what I'm saying? But pretty much just I was at a club. And getting let out of there. It was me and 2 other friends. You know what I'm saying? 2 other homies from my hood. Got into it with some dudes. We were outnumbered, you know what I'm saying? But we didn't run, probably about 10 or 15 of them. But we still held our own, you know what I'm saying? Got down with them or whatever, and along the way, somebody came out and boom, just stuck me, you know what I'm saying? But I didn't know at the time. I thought a motherfucker just punched the shit out of me. And then I was able to make it to my car, and that's when my homie told me damn, you bleeding all over the fucking place, you know what I'm saying? My shit was just leaking everywhere. And then my homie, he had got stabbed probably about 3 or 4 times in his body and shit. So took him to the hospital, and then that's when they stitched me up. Was at the hospital. So that's why it's a good thing I got this beard now. You feel me? It covers all that shit because my shit was
Oh, you got a big scar?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you guys go to the hospital, and your friend is stabbed. You said 4 times?
Yeah, about 3, 4 times. Yeah.
How bad was he?
Shit, he survived.
Was he in and out of consciousness or anything, or?
He was, but I think I think his adrenaline was also pumping too at the time. You know what I'm saying? But he did, he seemed out of it he was just man, they got me or whatever. But I've seen a lot of people, man, during them situations, even being shot, adrenaline pumping and shit, it's not how you would think, you know what I'm saying?
Did he have to have surgery?
Nah, he got lucky,
Wow.
Fortunately it didn't hit no.
So they just stitched him up and he was good?
Yeah. I think what they was poking with was a little I don't think it was nothing big, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't no gutter, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Okay.
I think he got poked with something
Okay. And so you get stabbed, you got stitches and everything. How long did you have the stitches in?
Shit. I recall, probably just like a week.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't in that long. Probably about a week.
All right. And, after this happened, did it change you at all?
It made me more conscious, of my surroundings, you know. But I've always been like that, because that wasn't the first situation I had been through, being in the streets. But it definitely put me on my P's and Q's a little bit more, for sure.
Okay. How old were you when you first got busted?
Um, I was 12. I was 12 years old.
So right when you started gangbanging,
Yeah, pretty much.
you got
Like
busted.
the first time I got hemmed up by the police, because I used to, when I was like 12 years old, 11, 12 years old, I was already running around the neighborhood and I was stealing car stereos. And then I would take them like to the next block over, and like these older dudes would give me money for them. So like me and like a couple like of people in my immediate circle, they would we would all go around at night and pretty much just steal stereos out of motherfuckers' cars, you know what I'm saying? And go trade them motherfuckers in, get some money in our pocket. And I remember I was out in like, because I didn't give a fuck, I steal a car wherever. I mean, steal the system wherever, Eventually it got to stealing cars too, but like it could be like in a broad daylight in the parking lot, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't give a fuck, I'm gonna bust in that motherfucker and get that shit, And that's what happened. And the police had rolled up on us one time, snatched us up. I got lucky, you know what I'm saying? They didn't lock me up or nothing. They didn't send me to juvenile hall or none of that shit. But the first time I actually got cracked, we robbed the ice cream man.
You robbed an ice cream man?
Yeah, it was stupid shit. But
like,
it was like an ice cream van though. Like it was for the money though. You know what I mean?
okay. No, I know.
Yeah, yeah. But this motherfucker, yeah, we wouldn't have robbed no ice creams and shit. But I mean, but yeah, I was like 12 years old, and pretty much this ice cream man used to come to our neighborhood and like really be tripping. You know what I mean? Like he was a fucking asshole. So one day he was like, man, let's rob this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? And me, like in the neighborhood, I used to like claim to be the fastest. You know what I'm saying? So I'd be like, we was like, all right, well, we had a whole little plan and shit. We was like, all right, K9, well, you go hit on the back of the truck, because he used to get out and chase us all the time. So he was like, go hit on the back of that motherfucker. When he come out and chase you, we gonna jump in and grab and snatch the money. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, all right, fuck it. Did that. That's exactly what happened, right? Me and one homie went one way. The other two went another way. They got away with the money, and I go a different direction. And the police ended up coming. The dude said we had a gun and shit, and the police came marching down the street looking for us. Like that shit was crazy. And fucking, we tried to run, and they, I was at the top of the fence, and the motherfucker snatched me off, like on some movie shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm at the top of that motherfucker, just snatched me off. And then from there, I just started doing a bunch of juvenile hall time. Shit. Then I got into like robbing motherfuckers. You know what I mean? And,
you went to jail for that too?
Yeah, I was still a minor. I went to juvenile hall for that. I stomped like this dude out and robbed him like broad daylight in the middle of like a main street. You know what I'm saying? In front of a liquor store. I seen him. Me and my homie seen him in there cashing out. And fucking, we was like, man, when he come out, I'm finna get his ass. You know what I'm saying? Because he must have had. It was probably like 3,000. It wasn't that much, and it was like 10 of us. You know what I'm saying? So it really wasn't really much to spend. But being kids and shit, I was probably like 15 years old.
How much time did they give you for that?
I probably did like a year in juvenile hall, but they was trying to send me like to YA at the time. I ended up having like two of my co-defendants. They ended up going to YA. You know what I'm saying? But that's because they actually took the time. I fought the case like all the way through, me and everybody else. So a lot of us like pretty much like had they held on, but see they record was a little bit worse than ours at the time too. So they were up against a lot more. And so they said fuck it. They took their little time, and went to YA. The rest of us we fought it like that whole year, and then they ended up fucking, giving us time served pretty much.
Okay, and
which
so
was fucked up because they should have just honored that shit for them too. You know what I'm saying? But they had already signed the deal for whatever they took.
How much time did they get?
I want to say probably like 4 years, something like that. Probably like 4 years.
You do a year. and you come out, and what do? Do you go right back to the streets?
Oh yeah, for sure.
No trying to
I'm going back to the
change.
streets even harder
No
now.
nothing.
No, I'm going back to the streets even harder now. Cause now I feel like I just did all this time gang banging and shit in juvenile hall, you know. And you know, in juvenile hall, it's like motherfuckers really trying to, you know, it's a bunch of fucking kids, you know what I mean? So there's like no respect. Everybody just banging on everybody, and so, and I know what I was doing when I was in there, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was pressing the line when I was in juvenile hall, so I get out, I'm like, you can't tell me nothing now, you know what I mean? And then around that time, that's when my dad ended up getting out of prison.
What was that like?
Oh shit, we bumped heads.
So he didn't.
We didn't get along at all.
He didn't like how you were living.
I don't even think it's that. I think it's just our relationship. We didn't know each other. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we knew each other when I was a kid, but you know, he was gone 8 years. So he gets out. I get out of juvenile hall, and then so then I go live with him. My mom didn't want me, so I ended up going to live with him, and yeah, we just started immediately bumping heads. You know what I'm saying?
So your mom kicked you out?
Prison. Yeah, my mom didn't like shit. Like matter of fact, when I was in juvenile hall fighting that case, we were just talking about I remember cause I was bad as fuck. You feel me? Like I was in like my mom used to find guns in the house. You know what I'm saying? The stolen stereos and shit. I'd had like backpacks of stereos and guns and all that shit. 13, 14 years old. You feel me? So like I had put my mom through a lot at that time because just being on probation, like as a minor, the police, like the gang unit, would just come through the hood all the time and just randomly stop at the house, flip everything over. You know what I'm saying? That type of shit. So, yeah, she just was getting tired of that shit. There was no controlling me. She couldn't kick my ass. You know what I mean? She stopped spanking me. You know what I mean? After she figured out the shit wasn't doing nothing. You know what I'm saying? After I started getting to a certain age, like there's only so much you can do. You know what I'm saying? You just kind of gotta accept it. You feel me? And let me live the life that I choose to to live. But so I was gonna say, like the juvenile hall shit, like when we was all fighting our case, at one point they finally let us out on probation. I mean, not probation, I'm sorry, on a house arrest. You know what I'm saying? So everybody gets out of house arrest. We over there, in juvenile hall, getting our little anklets on and shit like that. I'm thinking I'm getting out. The motherfuckers come back and they was like, oh man, you ain't getting out. They take the anklet off me. It's like, nobody came to pick you up. So all my friends get out, all that shit. Me, I had to go back to my cell. I'm like, damn. They was like, yeah, your parents, they didn't want to come get you. They didn't want you. So I had to stay in that motherfucking. And like, I got lucky because my grandmother, she's out of LA County, and she was able to get me out. They let me out like they call it an OR, on recognizance, and they was like, all right, well, we can't monitor him while he's, in LA County because this is an Orange County case, and we can't put the ankle bracelet on him. So it was like, so the whole time that he's on, on an OR during this whole case, he can't come to Orange County. So I got kicked out of the whole county for like a whole year. So I couldn't come to Orange County for nothing. And then
You're staying with your dad at this time?
No, my grandmother got me out.
Oh, your grandma.
This is what led up. What I was saying would led up to like my mom kicking me out again. You know what I'm saying? Like, and but like so like all that shit just like pretty much over all them years of all that shit, kind of like once my dad finally got out, and it was like, all right, boom, you finna go stay with him. You know what I'm saying? And then, like I said, we bumped heads because he was fresh out the pen, so he had his little penitentiary, mentality. But then he also looked at me as like I'm still his son, so it was a lot of like, I felt like couldn't nobody tell me shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm fresh out of juvenile hall, 17. I'm thinking I'm grown. At the same time, he feel like I'm his son, but he's probably not going about it the best way because he's fresh out of prison too. He ain't ever really had a really, raise me like that. You know what I mean? So he probably, he wasn't necessarily going about it the right way neither. So we would just constantly bump heads.
Okay. Are you staying at your dad's? Are you going to school?
Nah. I dropped out of high school like beginning of 11th grade. I didn't graduate high school at all. I dropped out of that shit. I was like, fuck it, I'm finna just gangbang. You know what I'm saying? I got kicked out of there for a fight that I wasn't even a part of.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? They thought it was just because they thought it was me because I was tearing shit up. Like I was getting a lot of fights in that at that school. You know what I'm saying? So it was like they had told me like you getting another fight, you out of here. And one of my homies got in a fight. You know what I'm saying? And I wasn't gonna tell on him. Somebody said it was me. And they just, you know what I'm saying, kicked me the fuck out. So I was like, fuck it. And I just like after that I was like, I ain't even going to school no more. I'm finna just gangbang. I'm finna just run the streets. And then it wasn't until later on that I went to the county jail that I got my GED. Like I took some classes in there and got my shit.
Well, that's what's up.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, shit. At least you got it, one way or the other.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Okay. So now you're in the streets still. Well, what are some other things that you're going through while you're in the streets? You know, some fights. You know,
Yeah, fights was
you
normal shit.
know.
You know, that was normal. Like fights was just like some normal shit.
What do you think was like your worst, the worst fight you guys got in?
Worst fight? I mean, I would say probably me getting jumped. You know what I'm saying? One-on-one fights was never like, I mean, I done lost some, you know what I'm saying, just as well as I'd have won some, but one-on-one I ain't never just like had like really just been like stomped out or no shit like that, but I've been jumped before like really fucking bad, you know what I'm saying? Like stomped the fuck out, you know what I mean? That's probably like the worst as far as fighting. And then, you know,
Were these
just
like ops?
yeah, yeah, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Was able to get up out of that. Luckily, you know what I mean?
I interviewed Slim 400 and out of Compton, and he was telling me that, you know, like sometimes there'll be like a blood school, and there'll be like a Crip school. You know what I'm saying? And so he was, you know, he was a blood, so he went to a Crip school, and so for like a year, you know what I'm saying? So he was always going through shit. You went to Compton High.
Yeah, I did.
What was that like for you?
It was rough, bro. You got to think like I'm a Damu. You feel me? So being a blood, being a Paru, going to a Crip school, it ain't cool.
So Compton High is
It's
this
a
Crip
Crip
school.
school. You feel me? So my neighborhood is behind Compton High. On the opposite, on the, you got the main block is Compton Boulevard. So on one side of Compton Boulevard, that's where the Crips at, and on the Crip side, that's the Crip school. I'm on the opposite side of Compton Boulevard, which is the blood side, the Paru side. That's my side. So I had to walk from my hood, cross over into they section and walk to school. You know, you got niggas banging on you, you feel me? You got fights, you know what I'm saying? People pulling guns, and you gotta have your homies come and beat you and pick you up. I was just going through all type of things. But when you a certain person coming up, you know certain people. So they ain't always beefing with you. But it's certain Crips gonna beef with you. So it was cool for me to go there, but I had tension because they don't like that I'm a blood. But it was certain Crips that had my back, like, hey, cuz, don't trip. I got you, don't trip. They ain't gonna do nothing, woo. You can't depend on that, cause like, bro, they gonna get your ass one of these days.
Did you have any experiences like that?
Yeah, well, you know, like, so like in my high school, everybody kind of had like their own little area where they would hang out, right? And I'm pretty sure it's the same in any high school, but as far as like gangs are concerned, you feel me? So it's like if you from this hood, you kind of like this is where you at. And you know, so there'd be time to time like after school, motherfuckers would run into each other, or they come from other high schools because they like, oh, these motherfuckers from over here. You know what I'm saying? Like me, I'm from Watergate Crip. So it's like, okay, some motherfuckers from Watergate over there, or such and such is over there. Let's, you know what I'm saying? And motherfuckers will pull up after school. Not even just high schoolers, you know, maybe adults and shit, grown ass men, you know what I'm saying? Pulling up after school and stuff like that. And then we ain't finna run, we finna fight. Got a lot of fights like that. And then when I was like 18, one of my real good homies, he actually got like his head blown off right next to me. You know, so that definitely like without me realizing it, you know what I'm saying? Like
Can you take me through what happened?
Yeah, for sure. We were actually, it was me and a couple homies, and we was actually riding around looking for ops. You know what I'm saying? And we didn't have no pistols, nothing. We had like baseball bats and shit. We was like, we finna just hop out, you know, beat these motherfuckers up and get on. You know what I'm saying? We had some spray cans and shit, so we was like tagging, you know, tag up in their hood and all that. And along the way, it wasn't even in like no op neighborhood or no shit like that. some motherfuckers like started banging on us. You know, like they was on the sidewalk, we in the car, you feel me? So everybody's like, man, pull the fuck over. You know what I mean? I was driving. So I'm like, all right, fuck it. Boom, slam my shit in park. We all hop out. We all run up. The motherfucker that had the gun, he pulled it out on me like this. About to pop my ass. My homie had the baseball bat. He runs up and swings at the dude. Ends up like barely like grazing his shoulder. Right? Motherfucker put it right to his forehead and blew his head off. You know what I'm saying? Like we was like damn near shoulder to shoulder. We wasn't no more than like a foot apart from each other. So like all his shit, like, you know, blood and everything flew on me and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like I remember him like laying on the ground with like a big ass hole in his head, smoke coming out of it. And him just staring up at me, you know what I'm saying? Because he was still like alive for that, you know, for those few seconds. So like that right there, like that face, you know what I'm saying? Been in my mind for the rest of my life. And like, I remember I couldn't eat for like a whole week.
Sounds pretty intense, man. Wow. So when this happens, man, how does it affect you? You know?
I mean, shit. Like I said, I couldn't eat for a whole week. You know what I'm saying? Like that shit really fucked me. Like I was like depressed and shit. Like just seeing those shit and then seeing my homie even in like in the hospital, cause he was on life support. Cause even though like his brain was dead, his heart was still pumping. So like they was like still considering him technically as like alive, I guess. So they had him on, you know, they had him on life support for probably, you know, I don't remember how many days, but it was a few days. So just going up there and seeing like his head and everything wrapped up, you know what I'm saying, in bandages and shit like that shit was pretty fucking, you know what I'm saying, pretty life changing, for sure. And like I said, at the time, like, you know, it didn't stop me from doing nothing, you know what I'm saying? I still, you know, still running the streets, but looking back on it now, it definitely played a role into, you know what I'm saying, slowing me down for sure.
Okay.
Definitely made me stop hopping out on motherfuckers, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Unless I got a pistol on me or something, you know what I mean? So that was you know what I'm saying, a lesson learned right there. You know what I mean? Because motherfuckers will blow your head off. Literally, you feel me? So I learned from that. I ain't hopping on nobody else unless I got a pistol on me.
You're still in the streets, though.
Nah, I don't be in the streets like that no more.
No, I didn't mean now. I meant
Oh, yeah. I'm still in the streets. You know what I'm saying? Probably with more rage than ever. You know what I'm saying?
How did it affect you, man? Did it make you sad? Were you mad?
I think it was
You
mixed
know?
emotions, a little bit of both. And that's probably the worst. You know what I'm saying? Because it was some hurt mixed with some, you know, anger. So that's probably the worst, you know what I mean? Because I was ready to just like, that's like my whole entire life. I've always expressed myself through violence. You know what I'm saying? I've always been like an angry, aggressive person. You feel me? Like that's just how I've been my whole entire life. And that's just how I've always expressed my emotions. Like I wasn't raised where, you know, you cry about your shit. You know what I'm saying? I was raised where you don't show no tears. You know what I'm saying? You swallow that shit, you keep it in and keep it pushing. You know, so that was the way I expressed myself, was through violence. And so situations like that right there just added more fuel to the flame.
And now you're walking around with this scar, you know what I'm saying, internal scar, you know, full-fledged in the streets. What's your day-to-day life like? Are you know what I'm saying, are you still, do you go to jail again after that?
Yeah, I went back to jail for sure. Matter of fact, I went to jail probably like a few weeks after that.
Okay. What'd you go to jail for?
That was like some bullshit. I probably did like about a month, but it was actually spit on the bus driver. You know what I'm saying? I was on the bus or whatever, and you know, we were young, loud on the bus or whatever, and the bus driver decided to call us niggers. And so instead of punching him, which it was funny because like, so I ended up hogging Loogie, spit on his face, and He looks, you know, he was scared and shit or whatever. We hop off the bus. He calls the police, and I remember when the police finally hit me up. And the only reason why the police even caught me because I could have ran from that shit. You know what I'm saying? Usually like I run, but I had my cousin. He had escaped from juvenile hall, right? Like he was out in the camp, and he escaped from camp. Like he had to stay like live in the mountains for like 3 days and shit like that. But he was on the run for the whole summer. You know what I'm saying? So when we seen the police coming, we all knew this. So we're like, and it was nighttime. You feel me? So we just like, man, we just gonna keep walking. You duck off and run. You feel me? Hide behind the car and just kind of get on. And they're gonna see us, the crowd of us. You know what I'm saying? They're not gonna notice you, so that way you can get on. Me at the time, I'm thinking like, I just spit on the motherfucker. It wasn't that serious. You feel me? And then the police was like, man, it was like, you better off punching the motherfucker, cause it's bodily fluids. You know what I'm saying? So they treated it way worse. It's still an assault charge. Like I got an assault charge for that.
Really?
Yeah. And it was like it's bodily fluids. It was like you was better off punching the motherfucker in his face.
Didn't know that.
Yeah. Me neither. Like I said, I was like, I just spit on him. Like that ain't gonna be nothing. Hell no, they took my ass right to jail. And that was like, and like I said, I had just turned 18. It was probably like a week after my birthday. So they was like, oh, you going with the big boys. You know what I'm saying? you going with the, you know what I'm saying, the big dogs and shit. And like, and at that time too, there was like a specific gang unit officer that used to always arrive to every fucking situation that I was involved in. You feel me? Like his whole goal was to fucking take me down. From a juvenile all the way to becoming an adult, you know what I'm saying? So I remember like the police actually putting me in the car in cuffs, driving off, and along the way pulled over in a random like parking lot. And this is at nighttime. Pulled over a random parking lot, pulled me out the car and all that shit. Here come this motherfucker pulling up in the truck. You know what I'm saying?
And what'd he do? He didn't.
I mean, be honest with you, I don't even remember the conversation, but like it was pretty much just trying to fucking like just be an asshole, you know what I'm saying? And then yeah, he was pretty happy because like matter of fact that case I was talking about where I robbed a person at the liquor store. That's what really like that's what the first case he got involved in with me, and like I said, I beat it, you know, and he wasn't too happy about that.
Are you rapping at this time?
It was like for fun, you know what I'm saying? Like I started rapping when I was probably like 12 years old, and it was just like, you know, we just do like little ciphers and shit like that in school. It wasn't nothing like, you know, it was more like a hobby just for fun. It wasn't nothing I was like really taking serious.
Okay. And at what point did you start taking it serious?
Shit, I was still young, but like I would say, shit, how old was I? I want to say around like 21, 22, something like that. And that's when I worked on my first album, Reality Check, which I put that out independently. And I was fortunate enough, like, so like I've always liked rap, you know what I'm saying? Like I was always into it. But I had no direction. I had nobody really like to show me what to do or anything like that. I didn't know nothing about it. You feel me? And I ended up meeting one of my homies along the way. His name is Caution. And he actually, I ended up meeting him, and you know, he was a producer, you know, studio engineer and all, you know, and all this other shit. And we pretty much just started getting real tight with each other, and he pretty much kind of like showed me the ropes, you know what I'm saying? Not to cut any corners, you know, putting out the album, like, you know what I'm saying, get the full on production, mixing, mastering. He showed me like, you know what I'm saying, what 16 bar verses are, you know, just the little basics and shit like that of creating an actual song, you know what I'm saying? And how to record yourself, you feel me? And so that's really what like got me started once he gave me that little bit of structure, and then from there, like I just took the fuck off on my own.
Okay. Now, as you're rapping, are you still on the streets?
For sure.
You started, I mean, when you started to take it serious.
For sure.
So now you're rapping, but you're trying to make it out the streets. which is still in the streets.
Well, see, I don't know. I wouldn't say the goal was to make it out the streets at the time. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think I looked that far out into the future. You know, um, everything was just in the moment. You feel me? Living for the moment. So I was still just as heavily influenced in the streets at the time. You feel me? Um, but you know, as cliche as it sounds, you know what I'm saying, music definitely did save me. You know, not and it wasn't from because of a financial standpoint. It wasn't like, oh, I end up getting millions and it fucking it wasn't none of that. I think it just it took my mind out of the streets a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So along the way of my career, like really getting my music going, and just really having to, you know, fuck with other people from other areas, and like and seeing how they operate, meeting people that are non-affiliates. You know what I'm saying? See kind of like how they conduct themselves, you know what I mean? And developing relationships with them kind of just like showed me something different, you know what I'm saying? And so along the way, just like creating more music, starting to treat it more like a business, fucking with other type of people. I just kind of like, I started, you know, maturing a little bit more, you know what I'm saying? Started to evolve, turn into this, you know, this young adult, you know, a young man, and just started slowing the fuck down.
And at one point, you meet Spice One.
Yeah.
How'd that happen?
We did a show in like, what was it, Mammoth, California. We had did a show. I opened up for him, and it was like, it wasn't no like nothing major. It was like a little hole in the wall spot, you know what I'm saying? But I had the opportunity to be able to approach him, you know what I'm saying? Cause like it wasn't like I said, it wasn't no like VIP section or none of that crazy shit. You feel me? So shit, I just walked up to him and hollered at him, and you know, Spice One, like, you know what I'm saying, like he a real one. You feel me? He definitely like, you know what I'm saying. He from the streets, you know, for sure. Like he embraced me, conversated with me, wasn't on no Hollywood shit, nothing like that. And he fucked with my energy, you know what I'm saying? And we just like that whole night just ended up hanging out. You know what I mean? And then it still wasn't nothing like serious. It was like I was excited. I'm like, damn, you know what I mean? I got to chill with Spice One, you know what I'm saying? Like that's what's up. But we just kept actually like we kept end up being on the same lineup on a lot of shows. You know what I'm saying? After that. And so it kept putting me around him, and then like so eventually he just started knowing who the fuck I was, you know what I mean? And then eventually he ended up doing a show in Santa Ana, you know what I'm saying, in my hood. And you know, so he had tapped in with me or whatever. And I was like, all right, don't even trip. I'm gonna pull up, you know what I'm saying, with some of my homies. Make sure he's straight, you feel me? So he did a show in Santa Ana. I pulled up with like, you know what I'm saying, nice little handful of my homies. And you know, greeted him. And like the homies, you know what I'm saying, took a liking to him. They was like, man, this motherfucker, like, he cool as fuck. He seemed like he one of us, you know what I'm saying? Like he from the hood, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, parking lot, smoking, drinking. We all go up in that motherfucker. I get on stage with him, you know. And then after that, that's when we just kind of just started talking about, you know, signing with him.
What year was this that you signed with him?
2019.
Oh, okay, recently.
Yeah. So it was about 2 years ago. It was, matter of fact, the month of May. So probably like damn near almost 2 years.
All right. And what have you been working on since then? You dropped any projects?
Yeah, I did. I dropped a single. My first single when I signed with him was called No Cap, and that was featuring Q Bossolini, which is another artist that signed to the label. And I did like some shit like me and Spice One. We did a couple tracks. We did King Me and then the remix to King Me. Dropped a video to a cold ass video. And then you know, so did a few singles pretty much, and then I ended up dropping that album January 5th of this year called Clarity. So that's pretty, you know, that ended up being pretty big for me, because I hadn't dropped the album in quite some time, you know what I'm saying? Like I was like focused on singles for a long time. And then I got to a point where I'm like, I've grown so much, you know what I'm saying? Not only as an artist, but as a man, you feel me? And I'm like, you know, damn, I need to put out an album and really tell like a full story, because I feel like singles don't serve you no justice, you know what I mean? Singles is like, for me, I was either like making something that I felt like for the club, you know what I'm saying, have fun with, turn up to, or I'm finna just make some for my homies, for the streets, you know, and putting together the album Clarity, it was more like it meant a lot to me because I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna bring everything full circle, you know what I'm saying? Everything from my past all the way up to the present. And I want people to really be able to see and hear that growth in the album. You know, so put out Clarity. I didn't have any features on it. I didn't want nobody taking up none of my space. You know what I'm saying? I want to really just like really speak my piece. I have a couple singers on there, but as far as rapper-wise, I don't have no rappers, but I do have a couple singers on there. And since then, I've just been dropping videos back to back, just coming out with visuals for like every single track on the album.
But you do have, I mean, maybe not on that album, but you have did some songs with some pretty big dudes, right?
Yeah. I just I was on Sugar Free's latest album called Group Therapy. You know, of course, the song with Spice One. I've done music with X-Rated. I've done music with J.O. Felony, Task and Alcoholics, Cocaine. A lot of people, man. The list goes on. A lot of reputables, a lot of West Coast reputables. I did some shit with Mozzie.
How'd that come about?
Just really through mutual friends. You know, just from grinding, mutual friends. But the song's called Nothing, so anybody that wants to check that out, it's a hot track. And then I'm working on some shit right now with Snoop Dogg. So the plans is to hopefully have that situation solid, you know what I mean, to be able to drop it this summer.
That's gonna be big.
Yeah.
That's what's up. That's good shit, man. Well, you're definitely grinding, man.
Yeah, you know, I mean, my motto, man, is consistency is the key to success.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You're as relevant as consistent as you are. You know? And that's even like in the streets. You just gangbanger or whatever, you know, streets is gonna look at you as you as solid as your last piece of work you didn't put in, you know what I'm saying? You know, same with business. Like, you want to stay relevant, you gotta stay consistent with that shit, you know what I mean? And my thing is, like, I'm a firm believer of not waiting for no invites. I'm gonna invite myself somewhere if I can get there, you know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna be in motherfuckers' faces, because I feel like one thing that we've kind of like lost in this era of hip hop is really being in the motherfucker's face because of social media, you know what I'm saying? That's where a lot of these like Twitter fingers come from and all that shit, because it's like, you know, you're never gonna see a motherfucker. And I feel like a lot of people talk to you and act a little different over the internet than they would in person. And you know, and that's
Facts.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? And then, you know, and just even like on some real solid shit, like rapper to rapper, you know what I'm saying? Like, motherfucker energy, you're not gonna really get it till you in person with them. You know, motherfucker, they're gonna respect your presence a little bit differently. And so, you know, that's how I grew up. You know, and that's something I kind of still stand on. If I could pull up and really have a face-to-face conversation with somebody, that's what I'm gonna do. And that usually ends up leading to being like a better relationship.
Yeah, I agree. It's always better if you can meet somebody face to face.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I'm like that too. I would much rather, if I'm a network, I would much rather network face to face if possible. You know.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, you know, it's body language, eye contact. You know what I'm saying? That's like certain shit that's just left out of social media.
Yeah, real shit, man. So you got a project dropping?
Nah, I got, like I said, I dropped Clarity. Still pushing that. I'm a firm believer of kind of, you know, the slow burn. I'm into creating timeless music that holds weight, music that has a huge replay value. You know, I used to put out a lot of fucking music back to back, but you know, this time around with this album, I'm trying to make that shit really stick. You know what I'm saying? And so since then, I've just been putting out visuals for every single song on the album. And you know, and now I'm at a point where like I ran across the, you know, the feature with Snoop, so I'm like, fuck it, you know what I mean? I'm gonna put that out too, you know. But as far as like another like project, like an album, I've kind of like started already writing for like my next shit. Like I'm working on an EP right now, but I don't have like no dates or no shit like that. I'm just kind of just writing and seeing what I come up with.
Well, man, sounds like you stay working, man. I like that. You know.
Yeah, man. Like if I ain't putting out a song, I'm networking, or I'm dropping a video, or I'm doing a show. Like I'm always doing something. There's never a moment that I'm not promoting something.
Man, that's what's up. Is there anything else you want to cover?
I mean, shit. Just, for those that don't know me, you know what I'm saying? Fuck with me. You feel me? I think that, I definitely got a story to tell. I've been through a lot. A lot of people could relate to what I've been through. You know what I'm saying? But I'm telling the story through my eyes, you know what I'm saying? So it's a little bit different, you feel me? And so, I feel like if you're a fan of hip hop that likes real shit, motherfucker telling a real story, having some substance behind this shit, fuck with me.
Who are your influences?
Man, shit. Be honest with you, man, like a lot of people, my favorite artist as a kid was Brother Lynch.
Brother Lynch.
Yeah. I used to fuck with a lot of Brother Lynch. And I ended up, getting to meet him along the way and fucking with him. Like I did my song and video with X-Rated when he got out of prison. And he ended up connecting us and whatnot. And so I bumped a lot of that, a lot of SIBO. Of course, like your Ice Cubes and Snoop Dogg's and the big name household legends from the West Coast. But shit, not even just that. Like I was a fan of East Coast hip hop, shit from the South. Like I fucked with Wu-Tang, Nas, Biggie, like what I'm saying, Outkast. Like I'm just a fan of hip hop. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It all kind of like being a fan of hip hop and just listening to not only one type of rap, I think kind of watered me a little bit differently. You know what I'm saying? And what I mean by that is it created more of a versatile type of music, you know what I'm saying, that I put out. Like obviously I'm from the West Coast. I don't portray to be nothing else. You know what I'm saying? Like this is where I come from, this is where I was influenced by, so a lot of that bleeds into the music. But I don't keep myself in a box, you know what I'm saying? Like if I think a beat is dope as fuck, I'm finna hop on it. It ain't gotta be like, oh, it's gotta be this type of beat. Man, I'm fucking with anything. Whoever on it, I don't care. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, even like a lot of the hip hop that's, a lot of the music that motherfuckers are doing now, you know what I'm saying? Like, the melody singing shit, I don't personally do it, but I fuck with it. You know what I'm saying? I'll be bumping all that shit in the car, you know what I'm saying? Going to, so yeah, I just, I have a versatile ear, you know what I mean? And it bleeds into the music.
That's what's up. Good shit, man. All right, well, man, see you doing your thing. You know what I'm saying? I wish you success. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate your time.
Man, shit, it's all love, man. I appreciate you having me. For real. Putting me on your platform and, you know what I'm saying, allowing me to tell my story a little bit.
Yeah, man. You got a good story, a sad story.
Yeah.
But,
Builds character.
Yeah, get interesting stuff, you know what I'm saying? Glad
Right.
you made it through everything. Sounds like you had it pretty rough. I appreciate you, man.
That's what's up.
Yeah.